Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Plays, episode 7, and we have wings so we can finally see our area from the sky. And I have been doing some searching around and looking around. I've been doing a little bit of things here, there, and everywhere, and one of the biggest things I've done so far since the last episode has been kind of cleaning up our nether situation, getting it under control and making it possible to do some fast travel between areas, such as the mangrove swamp and any other points of interest that we come across. So I've worked on moving the portal from the nether bottom to the nether roof. So we now have access to the roof, and I have blasted a hole into the bedrock, and this goes straight down. Luckily, we had a giant basalt pillar right next to our portal location at the bottom, which made it really easy to get up to this area here. So I've marked out this place, and over here in the mangrove swamp, I've discovered a desert, and in that desert, there is a village. And you know what that means for the 120 experimental features? That means there's probably a camel. Do I know what to do with the camel? I have no clue. Do I want a camel? Absolutely. But let's go have a look over there, and there's another thing I spotted from a distance, and it appeared to be one of those desert wells. So I have made myself a brush, because we're going to go see if there's anything suspicious in that desert well. Hello, frog. I will be back for you, hopefully soon. But just over this way. And I gotta be careful because I do not have many rockets at all. I think I have this plus a stack, and that is all the gunpowder and rockets I have to my name. We will need to sort that out very soon, but not today. Today I want to check out this suspicious sand. Come on, world. You can load in. There you go. And then we're going to finally get started on our actual base. What we've been doing so far has just been kind of the opener, the beginning, getting us settled in and acquiring what we need to do stuff. Yes, here we go. But I have big plans, which I'll go over in just a little bit. But first, okay, random cactus. Where are you at? You're supposed to be over here by the well, or the middle. Kitty! I don't have any fish. Maybe I should get some fish. So you're supposed to be a camel. There's another kitty. There's lots of kitties. We should come over here and get a kitty. Where would I be if I were a camel? Maybe I need have a view from the sky here. There you are. Found him. It's a camel. I didn't bring it. We're probably going to have to come back for it. I didn't bring a saddle. Look, it's a camel. We need to bring this camel home, and we're gonna need a name for it. So you guys start thinking of names and send them down in the comments, because we're gonna get ourselves a camel. I don't know why we need one, but we do. Look at it. Oh, he's sitting on your composter, and there's nothing you can do about it. Haha. All right, that's cool. And you know what? I'm gonna take these pots because they're free pots. What is anything else in here? Just a green bed. All right. Then, ooh, yes. Definitely need some of this because you can never have too much wheat nowadays with the mud and all that. Thank you very much. Right. So over in this direction, I think, was the desert well. And is that? That is the world's tallest cactus. Look, how tall are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tall cactus. Look at that. I'm gonna take a screenshot. Just because I can. But that's rare. Oh, and we're above a lush cave. We will need to follow that down because there are things for lush cave that I need. I want lots of clay. The rooted dirt that you get from going down here would be really nice for landscaping. And other things, glowberries and whatnot. So where was it? It was just over this way. Here it is. We have a well. And when we look in this well and we bring up our F3, you can see that it says suspicious sand is the block that we're looking at. So I want to get rid of this water and then see what we can get out of that sand. I've never done this before and it looks really cool. It's likely to be junk, but you never know. We could get a pottery shard, which would be really cool. So let's get rid of this water. I'd be real careful not to break the suspicious sand itself. So, okay, so I just need to get my brush out. I think this is how it's done. And then is that suspicious too? Oh, we have 2 bits of suspicious sand. Okay, that's regular sand. That's regular sand. Well, that's suspicious, and that's regular. Okay, we have 2 bits of suspicious sand. So now I just got to right click, see what we get out of this. It looks like it's going to be, what was that? An emerald. Okay, we got an emerald. What do we get out of you? Come on, pottery shard. Come on, pottery shard. Anything? Suspicious stew. Okay. Is there going to be more underneath here? There's more. Is that suspicious? Can I just brush any sand, or is it just suspicious sand? Okay, you can actually brush other sand, not just the suspicious type. You have to look really closely. It just looks a little bit different than the regular stuff, so it's not easily apparent. All right, well, that was fun. Didn't really get anything noteworthy out of it, but we will keep on the lookout for hopefully a desert temple. That would be really cool to find, because then we can get possibly an armor trim. Tell you the armor trim that I'm looking for is the coastal one. And if you notice, I have placed the armor, the one that we got on this, and I used iron as the ingot, and it doesn't really show up all that well. So I'm kind of disappointed. Oh yeah, and then this is kind of cool. It is the world's smallest mesa biome. It is just this red patch right here. That's all we get. I think there's a little bit more over there, but not much. We will probably have to find a bigger one to do any mining from. So let's take a quick nap. So now I want to head back to our main area and show you guys what I have planned for today and probably the next little bit. This is going to be a very large project. It's going to take us a while to complete, but I think it's going to be really, really cool and worth the time spent on it. Welcome to the Nether, Frog. You may regret your life choices soon, but who am I to judge? You're free to roam and visit. All right, so I have done a bit of flying around since I got my wings, kind of scoping out the area. And this spot right over here has been calling my name, and I know exactly what I want to do with it because it's what I've been kind of thinking about this whole time. Now, I want to build, I guess you could call it a castle complex, but more is to be like a giant city, like a gigantic. Think unapologetically a combination of Hogwarts and Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings. You know, that concentric terraced city, or the battle area in Lord of the Rings, with a bit of Hogwarts up on top in the main, like I guess the upper class area of the city. So this would be the top portion of it here. And let's head back over here so we can kind of see a bit more from the side. So that would be where the top kind of like main hall type thing with some towers and all that stuff. And then we'd have retaining walls creating different terraced levels of the city going down. It might even spill off over that way. And we can have a bridge connecting these two bodies here. And then maybe a little harbor thing down below where like the common folk, as we go downhill, will get less and less higher class. So I have a whole ethos in my head, and it's kind of hard to describe all at once. So just know today I want to get the main the main hall laid out and prepared. We have a lot of resource gathering to do, lots of planning, lots of thinking, and then we got to get some build palettes put together. And I'm actually going to build up 2 or 3 different build palettes. I want you guys to vote on them down in the comments. I want you to leave me a comment and tell me which one you guys like, because I want you to be just as involved in this as I am. This is our project, and we're working on it together. So I'm going to set up some build palettes over there of possible blocks that we can use and start laying out the foundation for our great hall up top. And then we will eventually grow our city down and then connect it over here and off to other places around the world, which this won't be the only place we build in this world. We will have other kingdoms throughout, and they're all going to be connected because I want them to be accessible by foot. Even though we have nether travel and we have wings, I want them to have roads connecting the different kingdoms just for immersion's sake. I think that's very important. So let me get these block palettes laid out, and then we can discuss them. And you guys let me know down in the comments which one you like best, and we will go from there. Okay, so these are the 2 main palettes, and some of the could mix and match a lot of this, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments on that. Like, what would you mix and match or come up with? And that would be option number 3. It'd be your mix and match or whatever you would think of. But option number 1, we have our standard stone mix, which is one I'm kind of leaning towards because I think it would be the easiest to farm up, and it would just be because when you're working at a very large scale, you don't want to go too busy with things. So this is what I'm looking at here, and I want to incorporate copper into both of them, because what I'm thinking is this guy over here owns a large plot of land with lots of bees. He's staked out the bee colony over there because there's tons of bees in the cherry forest. So obviously he's going to be making a lot of money. And why is he making a lot of money off of bees? Well, because of the copper being used in this settlement over here. So to be able to wax your copper is a symbol of status. So this main hall here would have the waxed, untarnished copper in its build, and as you go down into the lower levels, it gets more and more, corroded, because fewer people will be able to afford the wax products from this really rich dude over here to wax their copper. Does that make sense? That makes sense in my head. That's the head canon I'm going with. So with copper in both of these, and this goes really well with the copper blocks, so I'll probably use some of this in with the build if we go with option number 1 or a combination of the 2. And then this one has the mud bricks and some endstone bricks, because those 2 look really look at you, I need to wax you, but those 2 go really well together because they're similar in texture. Same with the stone bricks. We may even incorporate some of that in there too, but the lighter colors with the sandstone, the endstone, and then some of the darker colors as well with the deep slate and the cherry logs, the bark. I really love this color. That's a nice dark color with some purples in it. So it's not just a black. It's got some interest in it. And then of course both builds we can incorporate both the spruce log, strip spruce, strip dark oak, and dark oak logs as we needed. And I'd like to try to work this. I'm still having trouble finding a place to work that in. But those are the options there. So option 1, this palette right here. Option 2, this one right here. And then option 3 is one that you describe yourself down in the comments. So please leave me some comments down there, because I need help deciding this. We need to decide this before we actually start building things. Now, we can do the layout today, and I'm going to use sandstone for that because it's instant mined, so it makes it a lot easier to edit and delete things. I got a whole lot of cleaning up to do, but we're not going to build directly on the ground. We're going to raise it up just a little bit, and then we'll bring the ground up to meet it. But we're talking big. We're looking really big, and I think to really go over, because the main hall is going to be our storage room. I want to build our storage room because I always have a storage room as the main focal point of my builds, of my bases, because that's where I spend most of my time. That's where everything goes. That's where everything is. So that's where I spend all my time at. So it's the most important room in the build, in my opinion. So this is your basic item sorter layout right here. This is the blocks, and then you have your hoppers there, and then you have, from the hoppers, you have your chests. So that's the size roughly of the item sorter. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks wide, and we're gonna have 2 rows of these, one on either side of the building, and maybe even down below. And we're gonna go on a short field trip to a whole different world that some of you may or may not recognize, but just to illustrate what it is that I'm seeing in my head for the functionality and interior space of this main hall here, so we can kind of get an idea of size. So let's head over to my Season 1 Mindtopia base and have a look at the storage room in it. Okay, and this is my tower from the server that I was playing on. This is a world backup that I downloaded, but it goes all the way up there, and I was starting to fill it up with farms and whatnot. I never really got a chance to utilize this storage system fully before the season ended. But as you can see, my plan was to have a chest and a sorted spot for every block in the game, because one thing about me, I love to be organized. I have to be organized or else my brain just doesn't comprehend what's going on, but I am terrible at organizing. So the easier I can make it for things to be in a spot where I know exactly where it's going to be, the better off I'm going to be. So it was very important that the storage system sorts it and organizes it really well and easily. And it was a matter of a shulker box unloader right here, so I could just throw shulker boxes in there, and they empty out, and then they spit out empty ones there. And then this is for random stuff that would be in your inventory. You put it in there, and there's water streams. They carry it all the way around, and then it goes down over there to the lower level here, which again is massive. And I was starting to fill out the filters in it, get it all sorted and organized, and there is just a ton of storage down here. And I was still in the process of really filling out all the filters and everything like that. And now with allays, I can even sort the unstackable items, like the books and everything that ends up over here, like the junk and that sort of thing. This is the junk chests. But if you look back here, you can see the sorting system and how it works and how wide it is compared to the space in between. So this is about the size of the space that I'm looking for in the Great Hall. And this is my auto brewing station, which will probably do something similar to this in our world here, because this was another thing that I thought was really cool. Worked out really well. Again, didn't get to really fully utilize it before everything came to an end. And this is a contraption that I actually designed myself. I'm really proud of how that turned out. It's kind of bulky, but it works out really well because it looks like it's just a potion brewing room, and each of these you just push a button and it automatically spits out the potions. But that's what I'm looking at here as far as size and layout. So I'll give you an idea of what we're talking as far as size, so maybe I'll help you decide on the palette that we're looking at. So we're going to head back to our world and start laying out this. Oh, hello. I missed you. All right, we're going to start heading out and laying out our building. Let's go. Okay, now that we're back in this world, let's have a look and see where we actually want to put this thing, because we need to center it. This is going to be kind of the main building that starts everything. So we have to place it correctly. I'm probably going to set it back a bit so we can sprawl out in front of it with some of the upper city. So we'll have an upper city, a middle city, and a lower city, and then we may even have like an undercity, like a subterranean little mining community that lives underneath all of this. So we're gonna get rid of this now that we know what we're looking at, and then we can kind of work out how wide we want it. It's going to be wide and long, possibly with a little branch off, like a covered walkway, or just like a hallway leading to another building off over this way. So probably put it, let's have a look. Running out of rockets. Gotta get some gunpowder. I think we're going to build a gas farm on the roof, since we're right there in the Soul Sand Valley. That's really the best and easiest way to get some gunpowder and even some gas tiers for other uses. But that will be for future me, not today me. All right, we're gonna commit right. So this is cardinal directions. I don't want to get into an angle situation. Gonna be facing that way because that's where that river is. And that will be essentially the front of the building. So we're going to start over here. And we're going to go up. Probably 5 blocks, maybe 6. Just so that I may have to shave a bit off of that. But that's a good spot to start. And then let's try 33. So this is 33 blocks, and I'm thinking I may want to go even with it because I want a double door going into it. I think a double door would look a lot better than a single door. And to do a double door, I need an even width. That seems a bit, just a bit thin. So let's try adding to that. Okay, and this time I've added the filter mechanisms in there. Kind of give us an idea of floor space in the middle here. So that's how wide the storage chests will be. This is 40 blocks wide. So it's an even amount, so we can have a double door going into it. And then a line of chests on both sides. I don't think I want chests on the back side, just one on either side. And we'll have to work out how to get items from one side to the next. But how does this feel? I think that feels pretty good. And we'll bring it this way, can make it much longer than it is wide. So that's 40. So we're going to want it to be at least double what it is wide, if not more, so it feels right. So let's go for how long it is. Let's work this out. All right, so let's have a look at this. That's looking about right, and that's coming out that way. It's big. I went with 81 long, and we're 40 wide. So I went odd on the length, and then even on the width. And I think this is probably gonna work. We can get all of our storage in here and whatever else, and it's gonna be like a cathedral type building. Think the main hall, the Great Hall there at Hogwarts style, with some not quite as Disney fantasy, but you guys, I think hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. I want it to feel old but not ancient, so it's gonna have some older feel to it. It's gonna be nice and big, Gothic cathedral type build, and so probably going to have a tower on one corner and then maybe a smaller one on the other side leading to a covered walkway. So over here would be a tower. And I'm terrible at drawing circles freehand, but just kind of imagine like a large tower of some kind over here on this side. So I don't know. I'm not going to attempt to do this freehand, but you guys get the picture. This would go around like that, and then over here would be a smaller one, maybe a 4x4, just something to go up, and it's gonna be slightly off so it's not completely symmetrical. And then right here we can have 4, 5, maybe a 5 wide hallway that's covered leading off to somewhere else, another smaller building or separate part of the city, the complex. probably split this up into different districts. Like we'll have a smelting district, like a blacksmithing district, we'll have a commerce district, there'll be an agriculture district, you know, and we can adjust the design of the builds accordingly. So we have that local architecture over there, and then we'll probably have most of the time in the world you have local architecture, you have regional architecture, and then you have the seasonal style, like what is popular globally at that time, and they all kind of meld together depending on where you're at. So that's how we're going to kind of pull all these together from there to here. I think we have a good plan. Now we just need an idea of what we're building with, and once we know that, I'm going to take this nether star that I got by cheesing the wither underneath the end portal, which I didn't record because I didn't think you guys would be particularly interested in watching me do a quick wither cheese under the end portal. It's pretty straightforward and boring. But I got me 3 heads over Easter, spent some time down in the nether fighting wither skeletons, watching Doctor Who, and I got me 4 skeletons, 3 for the wither, 1 for my shield, because, I mean, how could you not? Come on, that's cool. But that's where we're at for today. Kind of in a bit of a standstill until we get our build palette figured out, and then we can start building this up. And I want to hear y'all's idea on the city and the build palettes. Let me have it. This is a collaborative effort. We're all in this together, and I want you guys to be just as much of a part of it as I am. So leave your ideas down in the comments. Let me know which build palette you guys like, or if you have a completely different one in mind, let me have it. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. With that, I think this is going to be all the time we have. I know this is a little bit shorter one, but I'm ready to get started building, so I'm going to get this out so you guys can get me the feedback that I'm looking for, and then we can get started. So with that, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like what you saw, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, this has been Neely. Bye-bye.